USA rare earth stories rose this week. The company said that the U.S. Department of Commerce may take an equity stake, and altogether, USA rare earths may get well over $1 billion from the U.S. government. It's one of several deals by the Trump administration with U.S. rare earth companies. The idea here, of course, is reducing dependence for those crucial industrial minerals on China, and to strengthen what they're calling resource sovereignty. Let's get more from George Gianarikas, Managing Director and Senior Analyst at Canaccord Genuity. George, thanks very much indeed. Nothing is definitely signed yet, but give us the outline terms of this possible deal between Washington and USA Rare Earths, please.
So, look, this is the second deal the U.S. government has done, taking an equity stake in a company that promises to bring a full magnetic supply chain to the United States. To your point, we're trying our country to wean off Chinese supply. We estimate that the U.S. consumes around 50,000 tons of NdFeB, rare earth magnets, per year. And so we're trying to fill that capacity. Right now, MP promises it's going to bring 10,000 tons to life. USA Rare Earths promising that it's going to also bring 10,000 tons to life. There are others trying to fill that void, but over time, we hope to have our own incumbent U.S. Rare earth magnetic supply capacity that will likely grow in terms of our demand over the next several years as well.
And apart from the equity stake, which I think could potentially bring the taxpayer up to 16% of USA Rare Earth, depending on warrants and stuff like that, there will be funding potentially north of $3 billion US.
That's right. I mean, it's going to take a few $1 billion not only to bring the magnet manufacturing facility to life, but there's also a deposit in Round Top, Texas, that has potential mining and refining capabilities for rare earth materials, including some of the heavies like dysprosium and terbium, also commodities like yttrium, where supply is basically right now being cornered by the Chinese.
So the plan is to build a big processing plant in Oklahoma. And of course, that's where a lot of the value comes in rare earths, potentially a mine in Texas. And then just remind us, they have a foothold in Europe as well, don't they?
Well, the company's been incredibly aggressive in terms of filling its strategic voids over the last, call it several months. They bought a company called Less Common Metals that has domiciled in Europe, announced recent expansion plans in France. So they're becoming a global Western powerhouse, not slowly, but quickly, but surely. Not only having done this acquisition, but also with the capital that you announced, they filled both strategic and financial voids very aggressively over the last several months.
And you would be a buyer of the stock. Your target $33.
Yes, I mean, we feel like the U.S. is on an inexorable path towards critical materials independence that should continue regardless of administration. And there are several critical materials, apparently most important of which are the rare earths, and the U.S. will continue to make hay in terms of bringing all this mining and refining back to the United States.
And you reckon that fears of a surplus of this stuff, if anybody's worried about that, are misplaced?
That's like worrying about the hangover before the party starts, a little bit. But we think there's a lot of work to do here, and we definitely feel like this is not a zero-sum game for now. It's we need a lot of help to bring back critical materials independence to the United States, and so deals like USA's deal yesterday are additive to other deals like MP.
One thing that this latest deal, though, doesn't incorporate price floors. I mean, the fear has been, the Chinese will just slash prices to try to drive newcomers out of the market. But they don't feature in the USA Rare Earth proposal?
That's a really good point. So the MP deal that the government signed had a price floor for NdPr of about $110. This one for USA Rare Earths does not have such a price floor. USA does not have any plans to mine and refine the light rare earths. They actually have plans for the heavies and for other critical materials. And according to the company, they think they don't need those kind of price floors because the prices are incredibly high. And there hasn't been a target, at least so far, by the Chinese to make those materials, the refining of those materials, uneconomic in the United States.
There are some conditions they have to satisfy before they get all this federal money, including raising $500 million US from other sources.
Yeah, those conditions don't feel incredibly onerous to us. You pointed to one of them, and there's an additional $500 million. I suspect that they're probably going to be a little bit judicious as to when they raise that additional capital, but we expect all those conditions to be met, over the next several months and quarters.
George, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
George Gianarikas, Managing Director and Senior Analyst at Canaccord Genuity.